The Empire State Building will be all lit up in red on Thursday night, and why not? The Big East Football Championship's on the line. Mark Rogers TV here to preview Rutgers hosting Louisville from Piscataway, New Jersey. Here's the situation. Rutgers wins and they move on to a BCS bowl game for the first time in school history, probably the Orange Bowl. A Louisville win creates obviously a two-way tie, and Louisville would march on with the head-to-head tiebreaker to the BCS. A Louisville win also opens the door for Cincinnati and Syracuse to create a possible three- or four-way tie in which Louisville, most likely with the best BCS ranking, to move on to the BCS. Now let's talk about the player personnel and the one player who will probably, more than anyone, determine the outcome of this game. Louisville quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, 3,200 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, and 5 picks. But Teddy is banged up in a big way following a loss to UConn at home in overtime last Saturday. He sprained his left wrist and he sprained his right ankle. So Teddy Bridgewater, yes, he is banged up, but he's going to play in this one. He's going to start, but he's probably going to need better protection from his offensive line than what he saw against UConn. The Huskies really beat him up. And also, Teddy's going to need some support from the running game. Louisville's rushing attack is 93rd in the country, but Sonoris Perry and Jeremy Wright are a couple of decent running backs, both at just about 700 yards rushing and 20 combined touchdowns. But again, Louisville's rushing attack 93rd in the country. So Bridgewater's going to have to throw it, maybe not 53 times like he did against UConn last week, but he's going to have to get it into the hands of Damian Copeland, his underneath threat at 42 catches, and Devonte Parker, who's the deep threat at 19.5 per, 38 catches and 9 touchdowns. On to Rutgers, the anti-Louisville. Think big defense, little offense. Led by quarterback Gary Nova, 20 touchdowns and 13 picks. Gary Nova has been sacked just 8 times this season, which speaks a lot to his pass protection and also his quick release. When he hands it off, he gives it to running back Jawan Jamison, 1,000 yards rushing, but just 4.4 yards per carry. That's an extremely low yards per carry average for a running back, and he's found the end zone just 4 times. So the Scarlet Knights have trouble scoring. Look at the last 2 weeks. 6 points in a loss to Pitt last week and only 10 against Cincinnati 2 weeks ago. Defense is why the Scarlet Knights come into this game in first place in the Big East at 9-2 overall and 5-1 in the conference. They are led by Logan Ryan at cornerback and also Kasim Green. Yeah, I had to look these guys up because I haven't seen Rutgers play this year. I have watched Louisville on occasion, especially that overtime game against Cincinnati. Kasim Green has 115 total tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, and 5.5 sacks, and he is projected to be an NFL player, as is the cornerback Ryan. Both of these guys, the top 2 prospects for the pros for the Scarlet Knights. If it comes down to place kicking, the 2 Rutgers kickers are just 9 for 15, while John Wallace of Louisville at 12 of 14. Rutgers a 3-point favorite to get the win at home and move on to the BCS. We would love to hear from you on Rutgers and Louisville. We'll make our pick later in the week. Now's your turn on Mark Rogers TV.